crypto fans, what's going on? It's your boy Jeremy Alexander Newsom. Hope you're doing splendid. So we talked about this on Saturday. This is the free edition on Tuesday, so the whole world is getting access to this analysis. But on Saturday, just a few days ago, we were pretty much prepared for what we got for the last few days. Big signal to take out that this week's candle right here. So it was bouncing, it was doing its absolute best, and just could not hold. So nice, strong break below that support. And at this level, here's kind of what I'm thinking. This is pretty much my plan. And yeah, it makes sense from here that this is likely what's going to occur. Here's the long-term moving average, and it's about 45. So you'll notice my kind of plan stipulates that we likely could trade down a little bit more into that price range, breaking this, what looks to be a pretty good bullish candle. Now, granted, we are at some semblance of a support, but it just seems to me that we will slowly and ever so gracefully creep down a little bit lower on the crypto, in the crypto sphere. Here's Ethereum, ETH USD, and Ethereum had that beautiful pennant pattern, and that pennant pattern did break down bearishly. So you can see nice looking level here, good breakdown, and pretty strong move. So with that breakdown, you got that little support right here, the support about 512. So we'll have to see what ends up and what transpires from here exactly, but it looks to me like Ethereum easily pulls down again into this $392, $400 space. Obviously got this big trend, but yeah, I mean, there's just a lot of big breakdowns. Taking out last week's candle was not the strongest of signals. Now, of course, one candle can change everything, so I would love to see that candle come in. But at this point, that was a really big turning point for most cryptos. We had a little bit of the bullish bounce. Obviously, we got the great, gorgeous move in April, and all of that has been, or most of that at this point has been washed away from the recent pullback in May and June. So that very nice pennant right against the 100, fantastic breakdown the last 2 or 3 days. And it just seems to me as Ethereum will begin to slowly just creep down a little lower, as will most cryptos, I believe, at this particular point in time. So Dash US dollar, it's also breaking some major support cone. It's at 264 right now. So here's the weekly chart. Really good support. I mean, again, very key level, and if this thing breaks, which again it might not have to, today could just be a really strong capitulation, and then maybe tomorrow or the next day you see some really good rallying coming in. But most experts and analysts agree, as do I, that we likely will have a little bit of a lower low to go. Some things will get pretty rough for a bit longer, and you might see some of these coins back into some of these original massively low and cheap levels that was about a year or so ago. We'll just have to see. I mean, so again, here's the daily candle on Dash. It's actually holding pretty well, but it is an inside day candle. So we'll figure out if that actually breaks higher. But with EOS going on the mainnet, its new blockchain officially starting. EOS US dollar down 15%. Again, breaking that little hammer off the 100. Strong candle, strong move, appearing to me that at least it seems that we're going to have a little semblance of some weakness coming into these markets, especially if these candles and the day closes as it appears to, like it's going to close over the next 4 hours once it gets that final close and that tally comes in. Now here's XLM USD Stellar. So I am still simply saying that I think that there's some great buying opportunities. Let's just make sure I really wrap that in here. Some really great buying opportunities going to be coming up. And again, as an investor, you need to know your time frame. You need to understand your risk. You have to be okay with longevity and understand that in any market, in any cycle, everything's going to have these pullbacks. Everything's going to have these retracements. And we're okay with that. I mean, again, it's just all about timing. If you got into Bitcoin this time last year, you literally don't care. Because you're still up 600%. Of course, if you sold, lock in profit, depending on where you're buying, where you're selling. Markets are designed to fool most people most of the time. And in this particular situation, it seems to me like it's, as I've been mentioning for the last really few months, that you're going to have times and opportunities where you're going to be able to make some really quick money on some swings like this. And then you're going to experience these levels where it's just about accumulation, buying, accumulating positions, getting it at a proper time, and knowing your outlook, knowing your time frame, because you all know the potential ROI with these types of moves. So we'll see what Stellar Lumens does. I really do love this hammer candle right here. So again, today's not over. It could get better, but something like this would actually be a really nice setup on XLN. Again, trading to that 200 would be really quite dainty. So we'll just have to kind of see how that plays out. But here's some Zcash. And again, Zcash, Bitcoin had its really quick run up with the news that it will be adding to Gemini, and it's pretty fast run right back down. Here's XBT. So if you're buying, let's say you're buying Dash with Bitcoin on Kraken at least, here's what it looks like. So again, since both of them are going down together, you really are having a little bit of a hedge with this not going down nearly as strongly. So, if you're trading or buying actual Dash with Bitcoin, since it's a ratio based, since both are going down, it's stabilizing relatively decently. And of course, here is some Bitcoin Cash, BCC, USD. If we're looking at Bitcoin Cash or Bitcoin Ethereum, Bitcoin Cash, Bitcoin. If you look at the Binance, so here's Bitcoin Cash on Binance, and again, it's sitting down there at 867. So you got some lows that looks like they could come in. Here's Bitcoin Cash on Coinbase. It's also at 869. So again, had a beautiful, beautiful move in April. If you made some money through that, fantastic. It looks like we're going to come back down, most likely to some of these prices, as it does seem a little more weak right now in the general thesis of time. But as we trade back down to the supports, we'll see how we hold on, what it looks like, how it can happen, and just see how it gets played from here. So hopefully this is helpful. Hopefully it's not too depressing or disparaging, but as you likely know, if you do have access to certain exchanges, you should be able to also make money on the downside if you know how to do that. If you know how to short properly, if you know how to play the bears, play the bulls, buy low, sell high, time your trades right, know your time frame, don't risk more than you can afford to lose, all that kind of good stuff. But I will continue with weekly updates for the world every single Tuesday for the IR4 podcast. Some really phenomenal interviews coming up this week and the preceding next few days and weeks as well. And ladies and gentlemen, it's been an honor and a privilege to serve with you. Let's continue rocking it out. Let's continue creating those brainwaves, and I'll see you all next week. Until then, love, live, learn. You guys rock. Bye.